Just Desserts by Katy Haye. Jay, your dishes need washing. Katy stared at the overflowing sink in dismay. I've got potions to make, she muttered, mostly to herself since there was no sign of Jay. Dropping her bag in the kitchen and making her way through the house, Katy yelled up the stairs, Jay, wash the damn dishes! No sign of Jay, although their third roommate, Niz, appeared at the top of the banister and half ran down the stairs. Cold day in hell, they intoned as they passed, doubtless referring to the circumstances under which Jay would actually clean up. Jay? Final call went unanswered. Katy gave up. Jay might not even be in. She wasn't going to walk up the stairs and open the door to find out, since that rarely clarified matters. An entire coven could be hiding under the dirty laundry strewn around the room. She shuddered and returned to the kitchen. She had a potion to make, which meant she'd have to pick out the dishes she needed and clean at least them. Niz was head deep in the fridge, rooting through tubs that had a 50-50 chance of containing food or newt size. Where's my lasagna? They muttered, their words punctuated by the sound of angry stacking and restacking of Tupperware. Can't help you with that one, Katy said. She plucked her grimoire from her bag and set it open on the table. Gritting her teeth, she moved to the sink and surveyed its overflowing contents. Her best cauldron had been in her cupboard the day before. Now it was crusted with... She hoped that was porridge, half dried on and half slimy damp where the water level reached. It's not here. Niz slammed the fridge door closed and turned with a glare. I bet Jay ate it. Well, I didn't. Katy set the scrubbed clean cauldron on the drainer. A clatter of footsteps sounded on the steps. You can ask him, Katy said, irritated in advance that she'd just cleaned the cauldron, only for Jay to now put in an appearance. Niz opened their mouth, but the question was answered when Jay threw a Tupperware container and a fork into the sink. Hey! Niz set hands on hips to face Jay. That was my lasagna. It was tasty, Jay said, as though praise was what Niz was looking for. It wasn't yours. Stop stealing food. I'm not your parent, nor your chef. Well, Jay frowned as though Niz were the unreasonable one. It had been in there for a week. It needed eating up. I was doing you a favour. I was about to eat it up. Niz was turning red. Katy thought Jay should read the room, but the Fae was eternally a law unto himself. Jay lifted a lazy shoulder and turned to the door. You snooze, you lose. You need to wash up your things, Katy snapped. Don't use our pots and then leave them dirty. Jay looked at the sink as though it had just right now sprung to life. Hey, sorry, I forgot. Katy pointed. You're here now. Ah, places to be. I'll catch you later. He was gone before either of them could protest. I'm going to kill that Fae in his sleep one of these days, Niz declared. They leaned on one hand, peering into the cauldron where Katy was starting to mix ingredients. Can you turn a Fae into a toad? Katy huffed. I suspect someone got there before us. Niz laughed. An insult to toads, eh? Katy counted as she stirred the correct number clockwise, then widdershins. Besides, I'd be expelled if I used unauthorized enchantments, and I like my course. Niz huffed. Is that your only excuse? Katy laughed. Right now? Maybe. Put laxatives in your leftovers if you're determined to have revenge, she recommended. Niz's nose wrinkled. But if he doesn't eat them, it'll just be a waste. Katy had reached a point where she could pause. She spread her hands. Them's the breaks. She left the cauldron and hunted in the cupboard for a container, evaluating 2 for the right size, then scrabbling through lids to find one that fit. She scraped the cauldron's contents into the container. Niz's nose wrinkled at the smell. It needs a full moon cycle to ripen, Katy explained. It'll smell better soon. Sweeter. She pulled a face. If I've made it right. Course you've made it right, Niz said. You're the most skilled witch I know. Katy smiled. I'm the only witch you know, she pointed out. She grabbed a pen and wrote Do not eat in large letters on the lid, because you never knew with Jay. Niz grinned. My point still stands, they said, sliding out of the way so Katy could put the container into the fridge. Katy closed the fridge and collected her cauldron. I'd better clean this. If I let it dry on, well, none of us wants boils, do we? Do I dare ask what you're making? Niz asked. arms folded as they watched Kaysar collect up the things she'd used. It's a charm to speak a new language. Neat, Niz nodded. Their eyes narrowed as Kaysar emptied the sink and started pouring hot water. You are not to clean Jay's stuff. It's virtually a health hazard. You are not to clean up after that lazy sod. You're not his wife nor his maid. A grown-ass Faye can take care of himself. But he so glaringly doesn't, Kaysar pointed out. But she moved the stuff she hadn't dirtied, arranging it into a vertiginous pile of grubby dishes, because Niz was right, and she had much better things to do with her time. Setting the cauldron and her tea mug on the drainer, Kaysar dried her hands. I need to fetch some mandrake root. I'll see you later. I'm going to barricade myself in my room in case those dishes turn sentient, Niz said. Shall I cast a ward before I go? Kaysar teased. Niz grinned. Cast a ward to keep Jay out. That'll sort all our problems. The pile of dishes became almost a fourth roommate. Some days the pile shrank to almost manageable proportions. Others it grew to heights that threatened to topple and bury them all. Niz muttered darkly about using paper plates, but both of them ended by turning the chore upside down, selecting the dishes they needed from the pile and washing them before use rather than after. Then Kaysar got in from class to find an empty Tupperware sitting on the edge of the sink, one that was clearly marked in her handwriting with the words, "Do not eat." It was empty, scraped clean. Jay! Niz looked up from their book as she sped through the living room to the stairs. What? Jay! Fear and anger warred, but both lent Kaysar speed as she took the steps 2 at a time. Tell me you did not eat my potion! Using the banister to slingshot around the landing, Kaysar hammered on Jay's door. Are you in there? Are you... Shit, are you still alive? A low moan sounded. Niz plucked at her elbow. He ate your potion. Their tone was one of horrified glee. I think so. Jay, I'm coming in. It's for your own good. Kaysar took a deep breath and opened the door, pushing when it snagged on discarded clothes. A muggy smell rose from everything. Jay? Covers were piled high and lumpy on the bed. Jay was most likely underneath. Jay, are you okay? Another low groan sounded. Kaysar grabbed a corner of the duvet, took a moment to gather her courage, then pulled it cautiously back. Niz shrieked, clapping a hand over their mouth. Kaysar's eyes widened in horror. There were the boils they'd all been warned about. Jay's eyes opened, the whites especially bright against the angry, red, pus-filled lumps that covered his face. He opened his mouth. What was that? Niz mumbled through their fingers. Shit, shit, shit! The potion lets you speak another language. What language is that? Niz asked, eyes riveted on Boily Jay. It isn't. The potion wasn't ready. It's garbage, gobbledygook. Jay added plaintively. How long does it last? Niz whispered. He'll be speaking that for a week, Kaysar said dully. Jay moaned. Niz blinked, then burst out laughing. It's not a laughing matter, she hissed. Oh, it really is, Niz countered. They bent, picking up a dirty sock and throwing it at Jay. That's what we call karma, moron. Keep your hands off other people's food, or Kaysar might turn you into a frog next time. Jay glared. From the tone, that was probably a curse, but it had no effect on Kaysar or Niz. As she watched, one of the boils began to weep yellow pus. I'll see what I can do, Kaysar muttered. They backed out of the room. The faculty needed to be notified when spells went awry. Also, her professor might be able to help Jay. Was it bad that a part of her didn't want them to? Jay was harvesting his just desserts, exactly as Niz said. That was Just Desserts by Katy Haye. Thanks for listening. If you want more, a new story is posted up every Friday. Click on follow to be notified when the next goes up.